The most valuable clue Earhart gave before she disappeared
is that if she did what she said.
For nearly 9 decades, Amelia Earhart's disappearance has stood as one of the most enduring and baffling mysteries in aviation history. The world still wonders what became of this bold and pioneering female pilot. On July 2, 1937, she vanished somewhere over the Pacific Ocean, leaving behind only questions and theories that have fascinated people for generations. Now, in 2025, researchers might have finally uncovered a crucial piece of the puzzle that has eluded discovery for so long. Thanks to cutting-edge technology and the tireless efforts of a group of dedicated explorers, a major breakthrough has emerged. This team believes they have found the location of Amelia Earhart's downed aircraft, on a tiny, remote island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean known as Nikumaro. This obscure island, unfamiliar to most, could hold the long-sought answers that have puzzled investigators and aviation fans for nearly 90 years. One key question still remains: did Amelia Earhart survive the flight and reach this island, only to perish as a castaway? Or is her fate tied to a far more tragic end still waiting to be discovered? To understand how Earhart's disappearance became such a powerful and lasting enigma, we must first look back at who she was, and what she symbolized in her time. The trailblazer Amelia Earhart wasn't just a pioneering pilot, she represented bravery, determination, and the fight for gender equality in a world that often marginalized women. Born in Atchison, Kansas, in 1897, Amelia began her aviation journey during an era when women were expected to marry, raise children, and stay at home, not pursue careers in fields dominated by men. But Amelia defied those expectations. Her passion for flight took hold after attending a flying exhibition in 1920. The moment she witnessed airplanes in motion, she was captivated. By 1923, she earned her pilot's license, becoming just the 16th woman in the US to do so. But that was only the beginning. In 1928, she made history as the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean, though not solo, but as a passenger. Yet even that historic feat wasn't enough for Amelia. In 1932, just 4 years later, she became the first woman, and only the second person after Charles Lindbergh, to fly solo across the Atlantic. That 15-hour flight, from Harbour Grace, Newfoundland, to Culmore, Northern Ireland, launched her to global fame. Still, Amelia wasn't satisfied. She kept setting records, becoming the first person to fly solo from Hawaii to California, and later the first to fly non-stop from Mexico City to Newark. Her fearless, trailblazing spirit made her a national icon. Her leather jacket, short haircut, and confident smile became instantly recognizable. More importantly, she embodied the belief that women could match men in every field, including aviation. By 1937, at age 39, Amelia was preparing for her most ambitious flight yet, a journey around the world following the equator. The 29,000-mile flight had never been attempted before. For Amelia, it wasn't just about breaking another record. It was about proving that women possessed the same skills and courage as men. As she famously said, "Women must try to do things as men have tried. When they fail, their failure must be but a challenge to others." The final flight, a mission like no other. Amelia's final flight was about much more than aviation, it was about changing perceptions. She had already proven herself, but this mission would push her to the limit. Alongside her navigator, Fred Noonan, Amelia set out to fly around the globe, tackling the longest and most dangerous legs ever attempted in flight at the time. But tragedy struck. On July 2, 1937, Amelia and Fred departed Lae, New Guinea, aiming for Howland Island, a remote and tiny strip of land only 1.5 miles long, located in the Central Pacific. The U.S. Coast Guard cutter Itasca was stationed nearby to provide radio assistance. Then, something went terribly wrong. The last known transmission from Earhart came at 7:42 a.m. local time. "We must be on you but cannot see you. Fuel is running low." It marked the beginning of what would become one of the most puzzling episodes in aviation history. At 8:43 a.m., Amelia sent another message. "We are on the line 157-337. We'll repeat this message on 6,210 kilocycles. We are listening on 6,210 kilocycles. We are running north and south. After that, nothing. The US government launched the largest and most expensive air and sea search in history, covering over 250,000 square miles of ocean. But after 16 days, the search was called off. Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan were officially declared lost at sea. The world was left with unanswered questions. And from those, decades of theories began to emerge. Although the official story concluded that Amelia ran out of fuel and crashed, many found that explanation unsatisfying. The search for the truth continued. It was believed that Amelia had run out of fuel while searching for Howland Island, crashing into the ocean. Her aircraft was thought to have sunk to the ocean floor, with no wreckage or remains ever recovered. Yet this theory did not stop the curiosity. For years, theorists, researchers, and explorers continued to investigate the mystery, putting forth new ideas that often challenged the official version. Some theories suggested that Amelia and Fred Noonan were captured by the Japanese after landing on another island. Others proposed they may have returned to the US and lived in secrecy under new identities. The search intensifies. Despite the official ruling that Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan perished, the mystery only grew deeper over time. The more people searched, the more unanswered questions surfaced. From the outset, it was clear that finding her plane would be extremely difficult. Researchers have worked to uncover the truth about what really happened during the Pacific Ocean and the isolation of nearby islands made the search a daunting and investing millions of dollars. Over the decades, yet no one can definitively say what became of surrounding Howland Island and shifted toward more distant regions. One question drove them all. Could Amelia have landed on a different island, surviving long enough to leave behind evidence of her presence? Early search efforts, a lost hope. In the immediate aftermath of her disappearance, the US Navy launched one of the largest search operations ever conducted. Aircraft carriers, battleships, and squadrons of planes scoured the vast ocean, desperately seeking even the smallest trace of wreckage, any clue to what had happened. But despite their efforts, nothing surfaced. There was no sign of the Lockheed Electra, no fragments of debris, not even an oil slick on the waves. With no physical evidence found, the world was forced to accept a single conclusion. Amelia's plane had vanished into the vastness of the sea, swallowed by the ocean and never to be seen again. The prevailing theory, that the aircraft simply ran out of fuel and crashed into the sea, became the widely accepted explanation. Yet for many, this answer felt incomplete. A renewed determination. Even after the official search ended, some explorers and researchers remained relentless in their pursuit of the truth. They weren't content with a simple explanation. They believed there had to be more to the story, that Amelia's fate couldn't be reduced to a mere accident. Their search sparked a shift in focus. A new theory, Gardiner Island, Nikumaro. In the 1980s, a fresh theory emerged, turning the spotlight away from the crash-at-sea explanation. This idea proposed that Amelia and Fred may have made an emergency landing on Gardiner Island, now known as Nikumaro, located about 400 miles southeast of Howland Island. This theory was championed by the International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery, TIRE, led by Richard Gillespie. Though they weren't the first to suggest this possibility, their expeditions brought renewed attention to the idea. The case was built on several pieces of circumstantial evidence discovered on the island. In 1989, a TIRE expedition uncovered a small piece of aluminum on the island's beach, possibly from an aircraft. Could it have belonged to Amelia's Lockheed Electra? In the years that followed, more findings were made. A woman's shoe from the 1930s. A jar of freckle cream. Other small artifacts suggesting that someone had once lived on the island. These discoveries sparked hope that Amelia may have survived after crash landing on Nikumaro. Some of the artifacts even matched items known to have been used by her. The findings prompted further exploration by TIRE. But though each discovery was intriguing, none were conclusive. It was like trying to solve a massive puzzle without having all the pieces. The mystery deepens. As time passed, more expeditions were launched, yet no definitive evidence was uncovered. In fact, the deeper researchers dug, the more complex the mystery became. Every new theory brought with it more questions and fewer answers. Some investigators believed Amelia had been captured by Japanese forces after crash landing on the Marshall Islands. Others argued that her aircraft may simply lie too deep in the Pacific Ocean to ever be recovered. In 1999, aviator and investigator Elgin Long published a book titled Amelia Earhart, The Mystery Solved. His theory maintained that Amelia and Fred had indeed run out of fuel near Howland Island and crashed into deep water. He supported this with calculations of fuel use, radio signals, and flight paths, concluding that the aircraft sank quickly and the chances of recovering it were extremely slim. Still, the search continued. Robert Ballard joined the search. In 2012, famed oceanographer Robert Ballard, known for discovering the wreck of the Titanic, joined the effort. Using advanced underwater technology, Ballard's team conducted a deep-sea sonar search near Howland Island. But like the efforts before it, this expedition yielded nothing. No wreckage. No plane. No closure. Each unsuccessful search led to a new, unsettling possibility. What if the answer wasn't in the place everyone had been looking? A game changer, the dime theory. Then, in 2010, a new and potentially game-changing theory emerged. It was proposed by Liz Smith, a former NASA employee and amateur pilot. Her theory pointed to a critical human error, specifically, a mistake involving the international date line during navigation. Smith explained that when crossing from west to east, one loses a day, and Fred Noonan, Earhart's navigator, may have failed to account for this when using celestial navigation. That small miscalculation could have placed them roughly 100 miles west of where they thought they were. This meant that all previous search efforts might have been focused in the wrong direction. Instead of searching east of Howland Island, the search should have been concentrated to the west. What made Smith's theory so compelling was its simplicity and human realism. It didn't rely on conspiracies or dramatic twists, it simply acknowledged that even the most skilled navigators can make errors under pressure. A small mistake driven by Liz Smith's navigational error could have had catastrophic consequences, and his team at Deep Sea Vision turned their focus to an area that had long been ignored. Inspired by the dime theory, a new phase of exploration began. Previous expeditions had searched extensively to the east, Tony Romeo, but Romeo's former U.S. Air Force intelligence officer and current CEO of Deep Sea Vision, assembled the latest in deep-sea exploration technology. The team deployed autonomous underwater vehicles. Their mission, search the ocean west of Howland Island, an area that had been largely ignored by earlier investigations. They painstakingly mapped the ocean floor, guided by the scanning thousands of square miles with precision. And then, in January 2024, nearly 9 decades after Amelia Earhart's disappearance, they found something extraordinary. The discovery, a shocking breakthrough. Using a state-of-the-art AUV, the Deep Sea Vision team captured sonar images of an unusual object resting on the Pacific Ocean floor, approximately 100 miles west of Howland Island, exactly where the dime theory had predicted. The object's shape was immediately striking. The sonar images revealed twin-tail sections, a feature consistent with the Lockheed Electra 10E, the aircraft Amelia Earhart had piloted on her final flight. At a depth of nearly 5,000 meters, 16,400 feet, the discovery was made in a place few had dared search. The pressure at such depths is intense, and the terrain is treacherous, yet Romeo's team had gone further than any before. Tony Romeo's reaction said it all. "You'd be hard-pressed to convince me this isn't an airplane," he told reporters. This could very well be Amelia Earhart's plane. The announcement shook the world. After nearly 90 years of theories, false leads, and disappointment, there was finally a tangible clue. For the first time, researchers had found something that could definitively link to the mystery of Amelia Earhart's disappearance. Technology that changed the game. The discovery wouldn't have been possible without the remarkable technology behind it. The team used a Hugin 6000 underwater drone, a marvel of modern engineering. This AUV could dive to unprecedented depths, maintain precise navigation, and withstand the crushing pressures of the deep sea. What truly set it apart was its synthetic aperture sonar, SAS, which provided imagery at 10 times the resolution of traditional sonar systems. With this advanced technology, the team could detect and map objects with stunning accuracy, distinguishing aircraft-sized shapes from natural rock formations or other wrecks. Each deployment of the Hugin 6000 took nearly 2 days, during which it would dive to the ocean floor, cover up to 130 square miles, and return with terabytes of sonar data. This data was then processed using AI-assisted software, helping the team identify shapes and anomalies far more efficiently than ever before. While previous efforts, including Robert Ballard's 2012 expedition, had relied on more conventional sonar and submersibles, they simply lacked the resolution and reach of the Hugin 6000. Romeo's team had something previous generations did not, technology that could actually find what had long been hidden. The critical next steps. Despite the excitement, the team knew that sonar images alone were not definitive proof. The object, though it resembled a plane, could still turn out to be something else, a geological formation, another wreck, or even a man-made structure that had no connection to Amelia Earhart. Tony Romeo and his crew were cautious but hopeful. The data was promising, but physical confirmation was essential. The next phase would be crucial, deploying camera-equipped ROVs, remotely operated vehicles, to descend to the site and capture clear visual images. If the team could verify that the object was indeed the Lockheed Electra, it would mark the end of a mystery that had captivated the world for generations.